as an investor, how can events like this affect what I got going on? And I think the broader conversation is how everything is connected, right? And someone brought up The Wire earlier. I think that's the brilliance of The Wire, because The Wire shows how everything down to what's going on a street corner in Baltimore is affected by politics,
Yeah,
education,
man.
even what's going on in the docks, how everything is connected. So to me, the bigger conversation is how politics has an effect on what we do. So a lot of times when you talk about liberation or things that we do as a community, you got a lot of our people who are like, you gotta vote, you gotta vote, vote does everything. I don't think voting alone does anything at all. But voting is a part of a bigger play. You still have to have the economics. Once you have the economics and you get the bottom politicians, then you can make real change. But politics can play a part. You can take your entire life building something up, and someone can take it with the swipe of a pen. A swipe of a pen and can take everything you have. That's another reason why what we practice is diversification, because as it relates to diversification, is less likely to happen. Everything is math, right? Corey talks about everything being math. Everything is math. So probability wise, if you're diversified in different asset classes, it's less likely that with the swipe of a pen, someone can take everything that you've built.
Man,
Which is why we talk about diversification.
man, we both had this experience because we used to be online poker players.
Mm-hmm.
And with the swipe of a pen, Bush took us right out the game. Literally, like within 3 weeks, I went from making a couple G's a month to nothing and my
Listen,
money being stuck.
listen, I played poker online, but I had an online casino. I owned a casino. And shout out to Sean if Sean is still watching, because Sean actually was one of my players. but but I had an online casino years ago. It was called uptowngambler.com. And during the NFL season, I would make several racks in a week. And with the swipe of a pen, George W. Bush ended that whole thing.
Yeah, he
He made it
smashed the hell out that
he
industry.
made it illegal to have one of those. So basically, the way the setup I had was, it was an offshore entity that had the servers and everything on an online casino. I owned a domain name, pushed traffic to said domain name, and had a breakdown of profits. And it was passive money. And with literally just a signature on a piece of paper, he stopped an entire cash flow.
Yeah,
Now,
he did.
again, I was in real estate then too, so I had other streams of income. But I'm like, what if I didn't? You know what I
Man,
mean?
he beat me in the head. He forced me to go back to work.
Yeah, like what if I didn't? So
At
my
that
point is,
time, the
I
crazy
don't.
part is I didn't even have I didn't have a degree or nothing at that time. Cause like I was out here living willy-nilly. I ain't had no degrees, I ain't had nothing. But I ain't had nothing but the grind that I came into the world with. And I was like, damn, OG, you really just smashed me and took money out my pocket. You know what I mean? Like he really did me dirty.
Yeah. So my thing is, that's why it's good to be. So it's a lot of conversations here. The diversification conversation, we talk about it a lot because within our community we talk about real estate. You know what I'm saying? We talk about precious metals. We talk about cryptocurrency. We talk about the stock market. And the reason we talk about diversification is for this kind of reason, right? There's been times like over the last year, even when the market was pumping, where we had like some terrible days. And if the market is down, a lot of times crypto is not. But then if they're both down, you know what I'm saying? I still got the real estate play. And, then I also got my metals. I'll always go look at my metals. The thing about metals is they don't fluctuate that much. They are a great store of value. So whatever value I have in there, they're sitting there. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the silver and gold that I bought in 2008 is more than doubled at this point. So the diversification is key, but it's also important to see how politics plays a part, and even your local politics. If you're a real estate investor, I don't care what market you're in, you better be paying attention to local politics, because local politics will affect you as a landlord. There's so many things that even happened to me as a landlord during the course of this. I mean, look at the moratorium on evictions. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Like, that's big, right? They put a new law in place in Philadelphia with having to pay for lead tests and things of that nature. So if you're a real estate investor, I don't care what market you're in, you better be paying attention to local politics, right? If you're a stock market investor, you got to pay attention to all of it. Specifically what happens on the federal level, like Biden just opening his mouth lost some people millions of dollars. So it's politics as usual. So I know a lot of times the messages I was getting And I talk a lot about the messages I get because I'm online all day long. Like I'll be in these social media streets. Um, was about, well, is it better if we had Republicans in office in terms of the stock market? I'm like, it's not what the data says. The data actually says that we do better with Democrats in office for the stock market, but I think you kind of like it ebbs and flows. Because I remember during the Clinton years, we was all eating. In the market,
Man,
we were eating the.
Truman.
So if you look historically, it ebbs and flows. But a lot of people, because they're just getting in the market over the last like decade, all they have to compare is Trump versus Biden, which really isn't normal, right? Because 45 will go on Twitter and just like intentionally say things to pump the market. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of y'all that are trading, y'all were trading doing them earlier. Yeah, listen, like Jamil just said, them Trump tweets, man. Them Trump tweets was something else, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you depending on what side you was, man. Trump tweets was, but that's the same thing that Biden tweet just did.
Hold up. You been to Boston and like they let black people in Boston? My
Oh
fault.
man.
My bad. I didn't mean to say that. I said that out loud. My fault.